bit of an unusual time. How are you guys holding up during this coronavirus stage?
You'll probably like this story because I live kind of near rice country. We got geese that are doing their thing out in our pasture, laying eggs and starting new baby geese life. So that's kind of been entertaining for us as we're staying at home.
Yeah, that is, it's helpful to have the wildlife. And I guess I should mention from a rice perspective, just like you guys, we're essential parts of the California economy, et cetera. So the rice farms will be planting soon and the rice mills are going 24/7, keeping up with demand. So it's nice to see that part of our state continuing. Joe, how are things holding up for you?
Well, it's good that we're able to continue doing our jobs, just like the folks in the rice industry, because it keeps you from going completely stir crazy. Although a lot of recreational things I enjoy doing are getting shut down by the government for better or worse. And so, that's a little frustrating, but we're all hoping this doesn't last forever.
And I think it has been interesting, and it shows your three-dimensional nature, both of you, when you have your kids and you're interviewing them and you're getting their perspective. And Joe, I thought particular with Delaney and her comments that there's every sense of normalcy is no longer there. That's frustrating. Yeah. But also that it's not really the stuff, it's the experiences that people have. What have you both learned from the perspective of your kids?
Oh my goodness.
That's a good question. I know one thing I'm trying to tell them is when they start into complaining, which I don't blame them for it because it's a crazy time, that everybody in the world is doing this. It's not even just our road. It's everybody in the whole dang world is living like this right now.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, that's an interesting question, Jim. Every parent knows you learn something every single day that you parent kids. It's really illustrated to me that all three of my kids, but my daughter who's home from college right now in particular, they have full lives and they are human beings out there in the world with 360 degrees of experience and friends and jobs and internships and the rest of it. And, while she will always be daddy's little girl, she's got a lot going on.
Well, I'm just hoping we'll get back to some sense of normalcy soon. How do you read the tea leaves as to when that might be?
I would say the momentum is building very quickly for a return to as much normalcy as is possible. Without, spreading the virus more. The need to keep America's economy humming and vibrant is directly tied to America's health. So it's impossible to separate the two. And since, there's a really big health aspect to keeping the economy going, I think both sides of that conversation are being heard a little more now. So I suspect we'll see announcements about a return to normalcy, step by step, obviously, but within the next several days.
Obviously, to open your business, you're probably going to have to get the go-ahead. But in terms of being out and about, I noticed this past weekend, Easter weekend, at the time that we're recording this, there were a lot more people out around Davis and Woodland than there have been for the previous months. So I think people either the nice weather or they were just fed up or what. But there are a lot of people coming out.
Was there one signature thing that happened for you two that convinced this is not a normal situation, this isn't the normal flu, sheltering in place is a good idea, et cetera? When did that kind of kick in? Because I sensed a change in discussion, not just from you, but from a lot of people in general. We in Elk Grove were, nonplussed about the loss of school for a week since Elk Grove came out first in California. And we quickly realized that was important to flatten the curve. So was there a certain time or incident that happened that convinced you that this was all necessary?
Well, I know for me it's kind of shallow, but the sports stuff, when they canceled the NBA and the NCAA and Major League Baseball, that's when it's a big, big deal.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. I'm just thinking back. I guess it was that progression of we have no confirmed cases to we have a few and one person has died to various places seeing an explosion in cases. It became clear how quickly the thing can spread and how while, the fatalities are toward, older folks and sicker folks, there are quite a few healthy young people who are victims of this thing. just realizing how little we know about it, and how our response ought to be predicated on science and knowledge and that sort of thing, but we're guessing at so much of it. It was then that I started to get, pretty concerned.
Well, better day is coming, and I have to say, really appreciate how you two get the information out and the entire team. And I personally can't wait for days that we can smile and laugh a little more and talk about things like chlorinated chickens and aggressive scents and all that. And
Right,
I need that
exactly.
so desperately. That day's coming. Well,
Sure.
thank you guys. Well, yes. Sorry, Joe.
I was just going to say, we're trying to remind ourselves that there's an awful lot of gloom and doom and worry in the world, and that we need to remember to keep our senses of humor and entertain the people, even as we're informing, because it's easy to get into the spiral of just dark, dark, dark.
Yeah, we don't want to go there. Jack, any last thoughts?
No, I'm ready for it to be over. All the fun's gone out of it.
Yeah, well, we'll just hang tough a little longer and we'll all get there. So thank you so much, guys. Great to talk
You
with you.
bet.
See you guys.